It's a very dangerous scene right now for firefighters. They cannot enter the building, not just debris and ice here outside the building, but floors inside have collapsed. Still very much an active scene here. We're at the intersection of John and Morgan Streets, where they have a part of this area blocked off. You can see the crime scene tape, but the tornado's path still quite apparent. You can see some of those trees that were snapped like twigs still standing, others chopped and placed here on the side of the road. While the surf conditions have improved somewhat, those rip currents will continue to be a threat over the holiday weekend. We're here at the intersection of Coronado Road and Post Road, right next to the Sunoco gas station, and you can see behind us they're diverting folks away from the airport. Police telling them that it's closed. That's because they're responding to a call of a possible threat, and the water fire basin will soon be fully lit as these events are underway. For now, live in Providence, I'm Adriana Rozas Rivera, 12 News. Nos encontramos en Smithfield, donde esta mañana cayó nieve, pero como pueden ver, no se acumuló mucha de esa precipitación. Sin embargo, las autoridades nos informan que la tormenta de este domingo será distinta. La policía perseguía a Michael Pinto desde Burrillville cuando él mismo huyó una parada de tránsito. Le pregunto, ¿se le va a pedir la renuncia al director del Departamento de Transportación o alguna otra persona? Well, Mike Shannon, a much calmer scene here at the airport, as you can see, but just a few hours ago, police were here combing a parking garage with guns after they received a call for a possible suspect with a rifle.
Mami, espérame un rato, ya casi llego.
Lobsing Solis of Worcester was one of many travelers blocked from getting on their flights. He was on his way to visit his mom for her birthday.
It says delayed. I'm still gonna be here waiting until, they let us in.
Police responding to TF Green for a, quote, possible suspect with a rifle, shutting down all roads leading to the airport. Inbound flights diverted to other airports as SWAT teams swept a parking garage. That's where they believe the threat to be isolated.
I'm here to pick up my friends who are flying in from Philadelphia. I got the text. I'm very excited. Oh, they just text the group text. Hey, we just landed in Philadelphia. Turned around mid-flight. Now they're in Philadelphia.
Other travelers waiting on the sidewalk with their suitcases. What time was your flight?
12:25.
All right, 12:25. So right now it is 12:31 and you are not on your flight.
By the time we were about to turn into the parking lot, the police were closing the entrance, and they told us that we couldn't get in.
Inside, viewers showed images of increased security personnel. Lobsing tells us he called his airline, who had no idea what was going on. After about an hour, police gave the all clear around 12:30 p.m., opening up Post Road and letting passengers get to the terminal. Now, a spokesperson for the airport says if you're planning on traveling today, you should still check with your airline in case there's any delays. So far, there's no details after where this possible threat call came from. Live in Warwick, I'm Adriana Rozas Rivera, 12 News. So Gina Russo is one of the survivors of this fire. I sat down with her, and she's been very outspoken over the years about the push to remember the victims, recognize survivors, and of course recognize first responders. And she says it's been talking about it that has really kept her going.
This month is hard. From the day that February starts till the day February ends.
Meeting her husband, watching her children grow up, and seeing the birth of her grandson. 20 years after the fire, Gina Russo says she thinks about all she could have missed if she hadn't escaped the club that night.
But that space there was where the building was, and the stage was that way.
But she's also questioned why she made it out.
There's very powerful survivor's guilt. Why did I get to live and one of those 100 people didn't? Why did I survive? My fiance didn't. But this is Fred right here. Very, very powerful survivor's guilt. We got here at 10:30 at night. At 11 o'clock, life changed.
That night left survivors with both physical and mental scars.
No, we've never experienced anything like this. Our fire departments, our EMS workers, God, what they witnessed that night is something that they will never really recover from. When I was injured and in the hospital still, I had what is called peer supporters come and visit me. And at the time, I remember thinking, these ladies are crazy. I'm gonna live normal life. Like, I was bandaged, I was a mess. And after a while, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm gonna be okay.
Gina now counsels new burn survivors as part of the same program that supported her after the station nightclub fire.
and I don't have the PTSD or the psychological piece to this, and I think maybe because I do talk about it, it's made it a little bit freeing, I think. And I always tell people that, please don't bury this, whatever you've been through, because you gotta let it out.
And when we asked if there's ever any hard days,
yes, absolutely, absolutely. I would have never dreamed I'd survive it. And say I'm okay as a burn survivor, say that I love my life as a burn survivor, because it has brought people into my world I would have never known.
And Mike, so really the takeaway when one talks to Gina is there's hope, right? She got married, she had kids, she has a grandchild that she brings to this very park. And that's sort of how we honor the victims and the survivors. It's by having hope.
Good morning, Saturday, January 20th, a whole 15 degrees. I'm Joe Cortez.
And I'm Adriana Rozas Rivera. Let's check in with meteorologist Stephen Matrograno to see if he regretted going outside this morning. I know I did.
U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has been briefed on the shooting. Both the FBI and the ATF were at the parade to help with security. Both agencies are now helping with the locally led investigation.
And here in Rhode Island, hospitals are struggling to deal with an influx of patients with COVID, the flu, and other respiratory viruses. An ER doctor we spoke with says the amount of patients paired with staffing shortages is causing an unprecedented amount of boarding.
Since you did that story, you found out he has quite the following.
Oh yeah, we had to stop the interview several times because he'd get a line around the truck, so we'd have to pause, he'd go make some coffee and then come back to me. Taking a live look right now along 95 by Broadway in Providence near the Providence Place Mall. Now you can see plenty of crews out there. Those are ride-out crews, and that's because your commute is going to look a little different. Months I gotta ask for another dog to accompany my current pet, Goya. All right, Stephen, give us.
Hold on, Goya?
Yeah, her name's Goya, like the beans.
That's incredible, Stephen. I don't know if I can top that.
It's a Puerto Rican dog. What else would you name it?